It's official. The coronavirus has made it to North Carolina. We've got the latest on how the university is taking action.
Thousands of voters hit the polls on Super Tuesday. What's next for the candidates heading to the big race in November?
Police are investigating acts of racism at a popular on-campus housing complex.
From the UNC Hussman School of Journalism and Media, connecting Carolina's campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
Good afternoon and welcome to Carolina Week. I'm Adam Jordan.
And I'm Elizabeth Holmes. Let's get right to our top story. North Carolina has its first case of coronavirus, and the patient is from right here in the Triangle. Governor Roy Cooper says the person is a Wake County resident and is currently in isolation. So what does this local case mean for the state and for us here at UNC? Reporter Melissa Rademacher joins us live from South Building with the latest. Melissa?
North Carolina is now the 13th state with a coronavirus case. Officials say the patient got the virus after visiting a nursing home in Seattle. That's linked to 7 coronavirus deaths. There's still a lot that's unknown about the virus, like exactly how it spreads. So university officials are trying to take as many steps to minimize the risks. UNC is restricting university-affiliated travel to China, South Korea, and Italy. The university is also contacting students who are currently studying abroad about returning to the U.S. before the end of the semester. Now, that's disappointing news for a lot of Carolina students who are currently studying abroad. Carolina Week reporter Ashley Mills spoke with one of them.
UNC sophomore Eleanor Murray was excited to start her study abroad program. She had been planning to do a semester in Seoul, South Korea for months. That excitement was cut short when she learned, after just 1 week abroad, that she would immediately have to return to the United States due to coronavirus.
I got a little oh, heads up, we're checking the situation. And then I believe it was Friday morning I woke up, and I woke up really late. And I just had a string of texts from my friends. And they're like, "Are you okay? I'm so sorry." And then I scrolled a bit further and I saw my email notification that my program was getting canceled.
In addition to South Korea, UNC canceled programs in China and Italy. The students abroad in Seoul lobbied administration to stay, but UNC said no. Murray said they were given 2 options: enroll in classes or withdraw and reapply in the fall.
And the only kind of classes that start this way in the semester are module business classes and a very select few of online classes. So even if we enrolled in one or did independent research, it wouldn't be enough to make us a full-time student.
Halfway through the semester, without classes or housing, students don't know what to do.
That's not fair. I did not sign up to have these unintended consequences, unintended financial strains.
According to an email from Chancellor Kevin Guskiewicz, right now there are no confirmed cases on the UNC Chapel Hill campus or in North Carolina, and no member of the Carolina community abroad has contracted the virus. It's unknown how other study abroad programs and trips abroad will be impacted until more is known about the spread of the virus. In Chapel Hill, Ashley Mills, Carolina Week.
So far, the university has not made any changes to their summer or fall study abroad programs, but the administration says that they will continue to monitor the situation closely. Reporting live from South Building, Melissa Rademacher, Carolina Week.
Thanks, Melissa. Coronavirus has affected not only study abroad programs, but the outbreak is also affecting spring break plans for some Carolina students. A group of Hussman journalism and media students was supposed to be heading to London in a couple of days as part of a class trip. But because of the spike in coronavirus cases in the UK, the school is changing its plans. The trip is usually mandatory for students in the class, but now they have the option to stay home. Students who choose not to go on the trip will be required to complete a research assignment to replace the requirement.
People are trying to prepare for the possibility of coronavirus spreading in our area. Many are hitting stores to stock up on supplies. Thousands of shoppers came to the Costco in Durham to get the essentials like water, paper towels, and toilet paper, which the store actually ran out of. Costco posted signs to limit customers to 5 cases of water per membership. The store is also taking extra precautions because of the coronavirus. Employees have been instructed to wipe down every cart that enters the building.
But what supplies do you really need to prevent the coronavirus? Experts actually say the best thing you can do is wash your hands. Wash regularly with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. Try not to touch your mouth, nose, or eyes because this is how the virus enters the body. And finally, doctors say you can ditch the mask. They won't stop you from getting the virus if you're exposed to it.
Now, it's clear that North Carolina is a big deal for presidential candidates.
For months, they've been campaigning, holding rallies, and running political ads in our state. All of it in hopes that they'd claim the most delegates on Super Tuesday.
Reporters Jackson Lanier and Mihai Lukacs are in the studio with more about the results and what they mean for the state.
Thanks, guys. Now, Jackson, we've had quite a week in North Carolina, haven't we?
Yes, we have, Mihai. We've had a lot of presidential candidates come through North Carolina. We've had Pete Buttigieg, Amy Klobuchar, Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, and President Trump even made an appearance in Charlotte.
Now, of course, before we get to the big results of last night, what everyone wants to know about, we should probably talk about a little bit about the foreshadowing that the two candidates, Donald Trump and Joe Biden, had regarding North Carolina and Super Tuesday.
And you know, you hear about enthusiasm for Crazy Bernie, and that's true. He does have some enthusiasm, but much less than we have, and a much smaller group of people, too. And there's not a lot of enthusiasm for Biden.
On Tuesday, we have a chance to change and set a new path. You literally, here in North Carolina, you hold in your hands the power to determine the next Democratic nominee. That's not hyperbole, it's a fact.
So, Mihai, were either of the candidates right in their foreshadowing?
Well, let's take a look at the national map. As you can see, Biden really performed. He did a full sweep down here in this corridor. He pulled out on Virginia, NC, Tennessee, Alabama, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and of course Texas. Texas was earlier in the lead for Sanders, but as more of those fresher votes came in, the votes that actually happened on Tuesday, Biden pulled out a definitive lead. He secured Maine, which was a possibility for Sanders at some points in the night, and of course he also secured Massachusetts, which is a big upset for Warren. That's her home state. She should have performed there. And Minnesota, he secured that. Sanders was really hoping for a win there. That's a state that he steamrolled in 2016. He should have been able to get Minnesota, but of course he just couldn't perform there. I wonder why. Maybe it has to do with someone who endorsed him. We'll get to that later. Colorado, of course, Sanders performed there. Utah, Sanders performed there. And the big breadwinner of the night, probably the reason why Sanders is still in this race, the reason why Sanders is still a front runner, California went for him.
Even though earlier in the week we had Amy Klobuchar and Pete Buttigieg come to North Carolina, what ended up happening between this weekend and Tuesday, these two candidates dropped out all of a sudden within 24 hours of each other and turned around and endorsed Biden. That's what many believe led to Biden winning Super Tuesday last night.
And if we continue here, that shows in our own home state. Of course, Pete Buttigieg, Amy Klobuchar, they were really hoping to perform in this state. They were hoping to bring votes out, maybe not win, but participate enough to get some delegates. And at the last minute, the last second, to the dismay of many of their supporters, they decided to just drop out and consolidate with Biden. Of course, Biden had a great momentum coming out of that South Carolina race. He had a lot of press going on. Bernie did perform in these mountain counties, which shouldn't surprise us. And overall, he did perform somewhat in the state, being able to secure some delegates. But as you can see, Biden secured the majority of the vote in most of the state. Now, of course, he had some help in doing that, didn't he?
Yes. What ended up happening was right before Super Tuesday, about a week prior, the entire North Carolina Democratic delegation to the House of Representatives endorsed Biden. You had Butterfield, Adams, and Price all committing their support to Biden.
And we're going to continue to see changes and developments, perhaps something with Warren, perhaps something with Bloomberg, whether that's them dropping out or endorsing or them continuing to fight on. This race is far from over, right, Jackson?
That is correct, Mihai.
All right, back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Mihai and Jackson. And we've actually just learned that Mike Bloomberg has dropped out of the race. He is endorsing Joe Biden.
And in addition to the presidential candidates, North Carolinians will also see some other names on their November ballots. Super Tuesday voters decided that Democrat Cal Cunningham will take on incumbent Tom Tillis in the race for U.S. Senate. And in the race for North Carolina governor, Republican Dan Forest will challenge incumbent Roy Cooper. Election Day is November 3rd.
Coming up, students thought they were taking a women's health survey, but they might have been victims of a scam.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become 1 in a million.
UNC police are seeking more information about incidents of racism at Granville Towers.
Officers say 2 cases of vandalism and verbal harassment occurred at the dorm, and they've now opened an active investigation.
Granville Towers management says Chinese New Year decorations were ripped off residents' doors, and in one case, racist remarks were made to residents. Granville Towers released a statement saying, quote, "Racial and xenophobic insults and vandalism will not be tolerated, and we need to work together to stop these incidents from occurring in the future." If you have any information about these incidents, you're asked to contact UNC Police or Granville Towers staff.
Some Chapel Hill residents are concerned after giving away private information to a scammer through what they thought was an anonymous survey. It started with a post from a UNC student in a popular page for college-aged women. The student advertised a survey with an Amazon gift card incentive, which asked for details about sexual encounters, as well as for a name and email address. We talked with one former UNC student who has asked to remain anonymous. She says at one part of the survey, she was asked to take part in a sexual act on camera.
The internet is a scary place. I thought I could trust it because it was a UNC student and it was a page that I've been a part of for quite some time. It's been very helpful and I've done other surveys.
The UNC grad says since then she's changed all of her passwords associated with the email address. The original poster says her Facebook account was hacked when the survey was sent out, and she wants to apologize to everyone affected. Women's History Month is here, and 3 on-campus organizations have teamed up to fight the stigma against menstruation. Healthy Girls Save the World, Magic Glow, and the National Council of Negro Women are accepting pads and tampon donations through Friday. All donations will go to girls at McDougal Middle School. The blue donation bins are located in the lobbies of Rams 1 and 4, the SRC, and the Stone Center.
Lots of rain so far this week, and I'm hoping things will clear up in time for spring break.
Let's take a look at our full forecast with weather reporter Daryl Brunson.
Hey, so after a crazy Super Tuesday, we're left with a pretty average rest of the week for the weather. Let's take a look at our 5-day forecast. Today, we're looking at a high of 61 with a low of 38. But for the rest of the week, we're pretty smooth with highs in the mid-50s and lows in the high 30s. However, it is going to be a showerful Saturday, so be careful and bring your raincoat. However, for the rest of the week, wear a light coat, enjoy the weather. Back to you guys in the studio.
No more late-night grocery runs. Harris Teeter announced Monday that it will no longer be open for 24 hours. Both the Carborough and Chapel Hill locations will now open at 6 a.m. and close at midnight. The change goes into effect today.
A local comedy club on Franklin Street is looking to expand its audiences through a comedy show called Friends of Dorothy, a show that features exclusively LGBTQ+ performers. Reporter Betsy Scaresbrick has the story.
The Pick Comedy Club is home to several comedy shows, improv groups, and comedy classes. However, one of its standout shows is one that's specifically for comics in the queer community. Friends of Dorothy started in July 2019. The original producer got its name from an old euphemism for gay men that dates back to World War II. Jackie Flanagan is the newest producer for the show. She says the best part of Friends of Dorothy is the community surrounding the performance.
Being able to go to a platform where it's a predominantly queer group of people, and a lot of our audience is queer, not all of them are, but a lot of them are, and it just feels like a really safe, welcoming place.
Flanagan says that the world of comedy is not always welcoming to someone like her. The comedy industry is dominated by men, and that's no different locally in Chapel Hill. Comic Cassidy Colhanick feels similarly. She said she reached out to the original producer because she wanted a space that was welcoming to women and the queer community.
Comedy is not a realm that is always safe and friendly to anyone that isn't, a white man.
That's why the Friends of Dorothy show is so important, because it gives a voice and a safe performance space to those who need it. Flanagan and Colhanick say they hope that a show like theirs will invite more members of the community to share in the fun. In Chapel Hill, I'm Betsy Scarisbrick, Carolina Week.
The next Friends of Dorothy performance will be at the end of this month. Coming up, it was a senior night to remember for the men's basketball team. Your sports update after the break.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Welcome to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Nick Perlin. The men's basketball team looked to get revenge against Wake Forest on senior night. The Heels led for the majority of the game thanks to Cole Anthony and Garrison Brooks. Anthony scored a team-high 28 points and Brooks finished with 25 points. UNC went into halftime up by 1. In the second half, the Heels led by only 4 points with a little more than 10 minutes left. It was raining threes in the Dean Dome as UNC made 4 3-pointers in a span of 5 minutes. Wake Forest tried to hold on, but it wasn't enough. Heels win their third consecutive game, 93-83 against the Demon Deacons. The Diamond Heels look to take on the UNCG Spartans in the Bosch Tuesday evening. The Heels started off quickly, leading 2-0 in the bottom of the second inning. In the bottom of the fifth, senior Dylan Harris smashed this homer to right. It was his 4th homer of the season. The Heels took advantage of a UNCG throwing error. Another run in the 5th to put them up 4-0. The Heels got busy in the bottom of the 7th, scoring 8 runs to take a 12-3 lead. The boys take the win 12-5 and move to 9-4 on the season. One Carolina softball player tells us baseball made her into the player she is today. Aaron Jenkins has the story.
Most little girls get their start with t-ball and then transition to softball, but not Campbell Hutcherson. She took an unconventional path to the Carolina softball team.
Hutcherson started her career on a diamond with a ball like this one, and now is a star on this diamond with a larger ball.
I started playing t-ball and coach pitch out at the Little League, and so I was like, wow, this is really fun. I enjoy baseball. I love being with the guys.
Hutcherson was the ace pitcher for her Little League teams. She got a few odd looks on the mound, but this made her a tougher player.
Every time I would take the field or we would go to an opposing team, they would kind of give me this look oh my gosh, why do you guys have a girl on your team? But it was super cool to see how the guys would embrace me, be like, oh my gosh, do not worry about them, especially because I was a pitcher too, and if I would strike the other guys out, they would throw a fit, oh my god, I just got struck out by a girl.
Her plan was to continue playing baseball as long as possible, but her high school team wouldn't allow girls on the boys' bus, so the transition to softball began.
Number 5, Campbell Hutcherson.
I thought it was going to be a lot easier than it was, and I was like, oh my gosh, they're basically the same sport, but just a little bit smaller field. But I was wrong. I was so wrong. I had this big loopy baseball swing, and so I was just missing on everything.
But Hutcherson figured things out pretty fast. Coach Donna Papa says the senior is the most talented player on the field because of the fundamental skills she learned in baseball.
The girls that I've had that have played baseball
that have been on our roster have been really solid players for us. You know, she's playing a different position for us at second. That person that plays second base on your field has to be one of the most talented players. That's a position that you really have to kind of know the game pretty well, and so she was really our most logical choice.
Hutcherson, Papa, and the rest of the team hope to make a deep run this spring, with the goal of winning an ACC tournament and making it to the NCAA regionals. In Chapel Hill, I'm Erin Jenkins reporting.
She's having a great season, and the men's basketball team has given fans a small ray of hope that there's still a way to make the NCAA tournament. That's all for sports. Back to you guys.
Sports teams aren't the only groups that are looking for a national title.
That's right, students in one of UNC's acapella groups are competing for the chance to live out their pitch-perfect dreams.
So Tar Heel Voices is UNC's oldest co-ed a cappella group, founded in 1988. And we sing a variety of music, mostly contemporary and pop music.
Soon the Tar Heel Voices will be taking it from the rehearsal room to the big stage. The team will be competing in the International Championship of Collegiate Acapella, also known as ICCAs. The semifinals are on March 7th in Durham.
So if we place first at this round, then we'll move on to the finals, which is in New York City. If we place second or third, we can put our name in and send a video for a wild card. We also have the chance to get a couple special awards.
At the ICCAs, the team will perform a 4-song set, including a mix of upbeat songs and ballads. This year, they will sing popular songs like Goodbye Yellow Brick Road by Elton John and Lights Up by Harry Styles.
So there's one part of Lights Up that we are able to actually experiment with different sounds that most a cappella groups don't normally play around with, so that's been a really cool part to expand our range.
The group has been spending the last few weeks fine-tuning their performances in preparation for the competition. And while the team has high hopes of winning, members say the relationships that Tar Heel Voices has brought them is much more valuable.
We are 100% an authentic family, and that means that we fight with each other, but we also love on each other. When things get hard, we all lean into each other.
My favorite part of Tar Heel Voices is really just spending time with these people. We always are able to laugh, joke, and always be there for one another when times get tough, especially during this stressful ICCA season.
If the team wins the semifinals, it will be their first time placing in the ICCA finals. Reporting in Chapel Hill, I'm Grace Wilson, Carolina Week.
What a fantastic story, and great job, Grace, for making that happen. And good luck to Tar Heel Voices in that competition. But I have to say, we were both in the Dean Dome last night. It got pretty emotional for senior night.
Yeah, it was really emotional, especially when Roy closed it out saying, "We are not done yet." You know, we've had a really rough season, but, you know, I'm still with my heels. It was really emotional. I was crying a lot.
5 games in 5 days next week. Let's hope.
I know. Well, that does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks for watching, and have a great day.